And it ended. Oops. Yes, I'm power eating bacon because it's so much better when it's warm than when it gets cold. And I just realized I don't even have this up. Or wait, or will that get the audio? I don't really know how this works. So we're just gonna try both. Oh, nope. What the heck? Could be bad. I wish I could like see when she goes live, but not have to keep. Oh, that's funny. And if you want to know, I just dropped it. Hey, hey. Okay. I climbed a mountain and I turned. Oh, you know that peaceful feeling you get when it snows? Scientists claim this because snow absorbs sound and reduces noise pollution. Snowflakes have the power to create peace, quiet, and serenity. Yay, somebody else. I was like, that was funny, but dun, dun, dun. All these memories. Oh.
You want to see how I went from this to this, keep watching because I have the most intense weight loss trick ever. It's called editing, posing, and sucking. Please be wary while you're scrolling online. Not everything is real, and companies will create insecurities out of your regular 24/7 existing body.
Don't always get the family that you want. At some point in your life, you.
Ah, there she is.
And we will get started.
Okay.
Hello, hello. There she is.
Yay.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
I was on the other one, then I was like, oh, okay, we'll start a new one.
I had a quick power outage and then had to review that.
The weather is that bad there?
Yeah, the generator is kicking in, so it's odd. No, and today is good, so I don't know what the heck going on. So,
Okay, no, today's good.
and so it's So listen. I can't explain what just happened. I was talking and I was like, oh, the lights went out, and now I hear the generator kicking on. So
That is so wild. Oh my God, thank heavens it's on.
that's why I just said. That's why I laughed. Like, oh, okay, we'll restart.
Yeah.
So how is everyone doing today?
Yes, let us know. And
go ahead. No. Go ahead, talk. Because we always have the same thoughts anyway. So go ahead. Tawnie's gonna talk because so today is not a specific topic. It's about a bunch of topics that were just brought up to me from attention from stroke survivors, the frustration of being a stroke survivor. So everything just so we're going to, as we always do, have our organic conversations about some of these things that were brought up. One being the frustration, and one someone said, "Why is this happening to me? And why do I feel like I'm alone?" Honey, you ain't alone. This is exactly why we are in here, because you are not alone. So, but I'm throwing the ball to Tawnie first. And thank you so much. This is what we're here for, is to share our infectious smiles with everyone. Because God gave it to us, and we want to make sure we can hit everybody with it.
yes, we want to give it back. And you nailed it. Like, I think every single one of us have said, like, I just feel so alone. It's something about, and I feel like it's how the doctors phrase things. You're so different. And we are all different. And that's why I tell others, I can't tell you I went through the exact same things you did, but I can tell you that we have fought some similar battles, and I have had to crawl out of some very dark places. So when you see the smile on my face, like, I am so grateful. I'm so appreciative that I'm here. But did I not, were there not times where I said, why me? Like, what did I do to deserve that? Like, we've all had it. We've all said them. And it's just how you get through it. And it's how you just start. And I tell you, the doctor was like, gratitude. Like, whenever, go back to gratitude. Like, what are you grateful for? And like, I can actually go back to my journals and see, because I was keeping track of like my blood pressure, all my meds, because my brain was so scrambled. I could not keep track of that stuff if I did not write it down. Even I know everyone's like, your phone, don't you put alarms in there? I'm like, yeah, even with labels. And I would be like, wait, when did I take that? Like, wait, if it's this time and that was an hour ago, what's in 2 hours? Like, it felt like a math equation in Spanish. And I'm like, I don't know what we're supposed to put. I don't know what's going on. So to now, like, I just practice gratitude. I don't even realize I do it in the morning. It's just, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm grateful I can open both my eyes. Cause there was a time when my one eye, I could not. And like, I was in constant pain. Like, so it does get better. Like, please, just the more you can reach out to others. Like, Tracy's laughing because she's like, oh my God, that's how I felt. Like, and then everybody, they see you on the outside. And for those of us who look fine, my mom, like, people would snap at me like, hello, are you listening? Like, I'm talking to you. And I'm like, I'm trying to understand what the hell you just said to me. Like, I'm still processing. Like, I would be like, what? A lot. So, you're not alone, and just being able to connect with others and get, like, your YouTube is such a resource. And like, as someone who's getting back into exercising regularly, and I know, like, I'm in a hoodie right now, but when people look at me, they're like, oh, you look like fit. You look like you do yoga all the time. I'm like, I took like over almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years off of it, like getting my balance back, regaining all those things is where I realize it's PT. It is still for me, So I'm doing rehab at home because they didn't offer it to me the second brain surgery. They're like, you're good. Bye.
And guess what? That's because you look good. So that right there, y'all, that's always going to be something we're going to bring up, because the natural eye looks at us and says, oh, you look good. You don't need it. Tawnie had a second brain surgery like 6-7 months ago, and they said, oh, you're fine, girl. You don't need you don't need no rehab. You don't need to do anything. What the hell? Do you understand what a brain surgery does? Is disconnect the wires of our brain, our body. So the whole thing, so think about it, if we go back to, we had a stroke. One side of our body was disconnected because one side we had that disruption in our brain. She had another brain surgery. Hello, disruption in the brain, disruption in the body, disruption in the mind, disruption in the whole physical being of her life. For them to say, oh, you look good, you look fine. So we're throwing you out there into the fire pit and saying, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. And by the grace of God, she is figuring it out. But listen, we're having these conversations because we need y'all to listen. We need doctors to listen. We need people, we need family, we need loved ones to listen. We are not always okay, but we have these infectious mouths because God is making sure we are okay. But it takes so much more. It takes so much for us to bring these smiles to you. But there's so much that we're still trying to process, so much that we're going through. And again, as we're going to always say, all stroke survivors are not going to be in the same path. So many of us are on different levels. So we can relate to you in things. We can always say that we went through those. As for me and Tawnie, we relate in so many ways, but I did not have a second brain surgery, as Tawnie just did. But so it's all of these things that we're trying to get people to understand. We are okay. We look okay, but it takes so much. It's not one thing that says, hey, we're okay because of this. We're okay because of that. Me and Tawnie are okay because me and Tawnie do things like this. Me and Tawnie talk to people. Me and Tawnie talk to each other. Me and Tawnie reach out. Me and Tawnie figured out a face. Me and Tawnie figured out ways to meditate, ways to say, hey, I want to hone in on something. I want to be better. Not everybody can have that same peace of mind or that same direction of mind and say, hey, this is what I want to do to get better. Or this is what I need to do to get me to the next level. That's, again, while we're having these conversations, we don't want you to do what we did. We don't want you to go through the hell and the torment that we did. in the process of recovering, the process of getting back to our quote unquote normal lives, getting back to loving life again. And my statement is always said, I want to teach you how to live and love life again post-stroke. In spite of what we went through, in spite of the disabilities that we still may have, in spite of the torment and the trials that you're still going through in your head, and in spite of having 1, 2, 3 and multiple brain surgeries that on the outside people say you look fine, but you, first of all, we don't even half of the time know how to explain what the hell going on in our brain. So they telling you look fine, fool, you just did some stitching in on my brain. What the hell do you mean I look fine? I'm still trying to process what's going on. So it's so much going on. And even for us, again, I would say that we do a great job at explaining the things we go through because we're open about it. But imagine a person that cannot speak about it. Imagine a person that's still dealing with aphasia. Imagine a person that's still dealing with so many formative trials that their family doesn't understand, their loved ones don't understand, and then they can't quite express it to these people that are supposed to be like the experts in the hospital. They're like, well, statistics say, guess what? Statistics is only a textbook that says, hey, you should stop here, or this is going to happen here. You can't tell that really we can't follow statistics and say, hey, this is what all stroke survivors are going to go through. No, statistics only told them based on their studies. Which, when did they stop their studies? Based on their studies.
6 months out.
This is what a stroke survivor deals with. Based on these studies. Hello, we've had like a billion stroke survivors since your last study of this textbook. So we need y'all to rethink how y'all process and how y'all tell us things. But hey, stroke survivors are going to have to deal with this stroke. Just like the number one thing that I hate that we say, and you don't get it back within the first year, you won't get it. That's a lie. And we're going to continue to tell you, for my stroke survivors, loved ones, and people around, if you know a stroke survivor that's still dealing with trying to get it back in their recovery and living life again, this is not the end all. Yes, they may be 1 year, 4 year, 5, 6 years out. They can still get recovery. Yes, it sucks because it's a lot more work we have to do. But even 5 years post, I today am still learning things. Like literally how Tawnie said, she gets up in the morning and thanks God for gratitude, like the things that they're going through. A lot of times I don't even think about it. Like I'll do something and I start laughing like, yo, because I remember when I couldn't do that. Now I'm doing it. And I'm like, oh, Lord, thank you, Jesus. But I don't always express it. So to have somebody or to have these medical doctors, and again, I appreciate y'all. We love you. Thank you for saving our life. To have them to tell us that we are limited. And that's the thing. That's what what it is. Don't limit us because we are not limited based on textbook, based on the limited knowledge that one has.
It's just like you should want to motivate us to do physical therapy, to continue to know that we can change. I'm like, your brain can rewire itself. Like don't tell me it may look different. And that's what I always say. I'm like, it's going to be different. It's going to look different. It may take you a different amount of time, but the amount I can name different survivors I know who have done something 10 years out, 7 years out, 5 years out. And if they stopped when everybody else was like, you're still not seeing any progress, why are you going to do that? It's like, because it's something I want to be able to do. And so, I mean, that's why I did mermaiding, because it was a fun way. I used to play water polo, swim team. I was like in the water all the time. Let me tell you what, the first time I tried to be in that tail and do everything, I freaking swear to you, I almost drowned. It was terrible. It was really bad. And I started crying because like I couldn't multitask. So it was like all of a sudden I was very aware that my brain and things are not clicking the way that they used to click. So immediately, if you have had the terror of like, fuck, I lost it. It's gone. I can't do that. It was my first reaction to it. And then I looked down at this mermaid tail and I had to start laughing. I'm like, you're not a freaking mermaid. Like, it's not supposed to be easy. What do you think? You're just going to glide in there, be graceful like Ariel? Like, stop it. Stop it. So it was a silly, fun way for me to get into that. And so like, I know a lot of us, like you love working out. So when you said that putting you back in the gym, like I'm going to cry, like the amount of us who you put us in a different environment or a different thing that our brain like cares about, it's like, oh no, I'm gonna find a way. Like it may not be pretty, but like we are gonna do this. So
and it's so true because I always laugh because somebody just said on my YouTube channel the other day, I'm sorry, and I saw if you're on here, I seen the old message. It was like 2 years ago. And she goes, so you go to the gym and you don't care if you drop a weight, girl? I don't care if I drop a weight. I go to the gym. In the beginning, I was like, I'm telling y'all, let me get into the gym. They're like, your hand doesn't work. Let me get into the gym. I'm going to show you I can do this. And I would give a forewarning. Don't stand to my left side because I can't feel it. I might drop this weight, but guess what? Your girl going to pick it back up. And I keep picking it back up and I keep picking it back up. And guess what? So over time, with that repetition, I don't think about it no more. So, and now and it is funny. I always tell people, I don't even have feeling in this hand. But guess what? I'm going to go and pick up the weight. So I do a lot of my workouts in front of a mirror.
That's cool.
Because the mirror allows me to have that brain connection to say, hey, so I'll have, and I can't say, Lord, let me revert that. I don't want to say I don't have full feeling. So with me looking in the mirror, I can see some of my fingers begin to loosen up, and then I'll try to re-grip it, or I might have to put the weight down, pick it back up. So again, it's also, and I'm finding different sensory modes to tell my brain, hey, your hand is about to drop. So again, I don't have a full feeling, but I'm finding like, even if I'm not looking at it, I'll feel something different in my hand or my wrist. And I'm like, oh, it's about to drop. So, or let me re-grip, let me do. So you begin over time when you have repetition, you learn different ways to say, hey, I can maneuver this. I can still make this happen. Yes, it may not have full feeling. And so that's where in spite of what we're going through, we can still learn to love and live life. And my love is working out. My love is lifting weights. And my love is being in the gym. So I am learning to still love and accepting, loving and living life the way I want to, in spite of my disability that I have with my hand and things that going on in my body and not being able to feel it. So to answer that question, say, so you're okay with not being able to feel it? Listen, I can work out. Who's okay with it? But I thank God that it opens up. I can pick something up. Yeah, I may not be able to feel it, but baby, your girl Tracy gonna be up in the gym.
And I bet you everybody is motivated. No one is like, oh, she just dropped that. Like, what's going on over there? Like, it's inspiring. And I think that's what we have to change how people see that is like, no one really, like, you think people are there judging you. They're not. Everybody's so worried about what they look like and what they're doing. And if you just keep trying to do something, like, eventually, like, you're going to be surprised who around you is like, I saw you and I'm so motivated. Like, I've seen you show up every day and do this and then start it. So I applaud you for helping so many people. Like, I'm loving all the stuff you're doing as the home workout and stuff like that, because I know I have anxiety and depression. So like, I'm not ready to go to the gym because I'm like, and I went one time with my husband. I was like, everybody was looking at me. It was so weird. And like, I know I look fine. They're like, she doesn't know how to use any of this equipment. And he was like, oh my God. He's like, so he got me some weights and he laughed. They're 10 pounds, but there's a lot of stuff I can't do. I was like, I need like, I don't know, should I get 3 or 5 pound? 3?
You need both 3 and 5 because that affected side is going to go through these different trials that a 5 pound may be heavy one day, a 3 pound may be too light. So I say all of them because even still today, y'all might see me pressing 1,000 pounds on legs. I get upper body. This 5 pound ain't working today. Let me grab that 1 pound. Let me grab that 3 pounds. So baby, listen, don't be mad to grab that smaller weights because I still myself today will grab those smaller weights because it's a process that our brain, and it's a process that our body is still trying to go through these trials of recovery. And as I said, with stroke survivors, every day is recovery. So yes, y'all see me on stage and being back to weightlifting and doing bodybuilding shows. But there are times that I got to step back and literally, I'll say it all the time, like, yo, and or my family, especially my niece and nephew that's around me, they be like, oh, your head ain't working today, and they get to laughing because we laugh at it. They'll look at me like, why did you drop that, or why didn't you pick it up? And they'll finish it for me like, oh, she wasn't working today. So it was, but we turned it into because I'm okay to within. The great thing is because when you let others know, they notice it, and they're like, and these are 8 and 10 years old, like, hey, she not working today. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, oh, okay, I got it, or I'll do this, or you go switch hands. So it's things like that. But with that, because I still go through that, I will not always be so I can't pick up a 25 pound. I can't do this. So guess what? Your girl will pick up a 3 pound. And like I said, sometimes be like, yo, this 3 pound ain't even going over my head today. So we're going to step all the way back. So it's a process always. But at the same time, with repetition, and when you continue to do things, and like I said, with my fingers and my hand, I'm finding different cues for me to understand, even though if I'm not looking at it, to say, hey, you better re-grip because you're about to drop it. You better figure this out because you're about to drop it. Cheryl says, I don't work on triceps while laying back can't afford to drop anything on my. So there's a couple. And we can talk about this outside of that, Cheryl. So the thing is that is very smart to not do anything overhead because of the simple fact that you may not be able to feel that effect inside. You can't see anything. So doing things in front of a mirror helps you with that, Cheryl. Doing things in front of a mirror will help you with to assess if your hand is about to change or you're about to drop something. But then also it is very smart to say, hey, because I don't have the ability to fully control that side, not to do anything overhead, just I'm gonna knock myself out. So all of those things, and you don't have to do triceps overhead because you can stand up and do tricep kickback. You can sit down and do tricep. You can sit down and do tricep bench dips. So all of these things you can do to tighten up and work your tricep without ever going overhead. And it honestly took me, like today's workout, I did triceps overhead, but I literally picked up a 20, didn't move. I went all the way back down to an 8. And guess what? I did tricep extensions overhead with an 8-pound. But guess what? Last week, I was back with a 20. So today was one of those days was like, no, I'll play it. But when I switched position of taking behind my back, I could do a 20 behind my back. But it's something about, honestly, it's something about that scapula and the position of, because that scapula, we lost that control with that scapula, that your body still sometimes may not want to do those moves. And I'm not going to go into a full workout here, but it's just a process of learning and understanding the body and understanding how you may have to switch up a position for something else to work. So.
Well, and it made me think about, and I know we're towards the end of this, for a next topic, is the fact that I feel like as survivors, sometimes we feel like it was nice. I know you say this, you can go back and wait, you can go back in like intensity, all those things. But for some reason, I feel like as survivors, we think if I go backwards, I'm going backwards and I'm losing this. So I notice I have a tendency to be like, you could do this many reps last time. And I'm like really trying to break that habit. Like, we do not compare Tawnie today from Tawnie yesterday or Tawnie even this morning, because I have different spoons and different stamina and different levels. And like, I still have to take a nap. Everybody is seeing I am exercising, but when I tell you, when I close my exercise ring by noon, guess who's having a nap before 3? Me, every freaking day. So I've been having to take a nap and go to bed way earlier. So I just think talking about that, because hearing you just say that made me feel better about like, you don't need to do that many reps. You're not going to lose that muscle. Like, chill out.
So listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to need you to write that down. I ain't got up here in front of me because I love that topic. I love it. But what she just said, baby, when I tell you, it just went over my head. And I forgot what she said that fast. But at the same time, I quite remember it because when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is our topic for next week. So we will remember that, y'all. That's what we're going to talk about next week. But right now, I need Tawnie to write that down because she said it, and I don't quite remember what she said. I would just throw that out there.
Oh, yes, I've got it.
Okay, good. I'm glad you got it. And I threw my thought off. I was going to say something in regards to that.
You're not going backwards. You're not going backwards if you have to like go less on weights or like take a break or take a nap or any of those things.
Yeah, thank you. The nap, because we were supposed to bring that up.
Midday reset.
Our midday reset. You know what? I'm going to do better this week. I didn't see Joe on here today, but
No.
I'm gonna call myself out. I'm gonna do better this week. My midday reset, I was able to do it. I'm gonna say once, but not even a full once, because the moment when I finally shut my brain down a little bit, and it was supposed to be at least a 30-minute. When I finally shut it down, my alarm went off, and I swear I only probably laid down and closed my eyes for 8 minutes. I was like, how did that? Because I never shut my brain down. So.
But even 8 minutes. So let's make that okay. That like, even if you just maybe take 2 minutes. So what I'm actually going to do is schedule out affirmations for a certain time so that every day I see it post and then I'm reminded to say positive words and take a moment to just chill out. So I will do that. And I will make sure I'll tag you. So
yes. And on that note, that is the end of our show today.
Appreciate you. Love you. And this time so much. Thank you for this.
And we will see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Boop. Time so much. Thank you. Boop.